Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. Today, our guest is Alan Steven, and he is international profiling and communication specialist. Hi, Alan.
G'day, Elena. How are you?
Great, great, thank you. I am excited to speak about this topic how to get best out of people. And I am very happy to have you today with us as a guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why you do what you do.
Well, basically, as you've said, I'm an international profiling and communication specialist. I'm also the creator of the rapid trait profiling system, which is proven to be one of the most accurate and fastest ways to read people on the planet. So, knowing how to recognize their personalities at a glance, then when you're talking to them, be able to change the way that you like to be spoken to match the way that they need to be spoken to. And then from the feedback from their body language and expressions, know whether you've read them right. Is there something emotionally going on? And are they telling you the truth? But basically using that last part, not as a lie detector, but as a truth seeker. And the reason I do what I do is that for a long time, I was dreadful at reading people. I'd been through 2 divorces, a lot of broken relationships, and even had business partners who emptied the bank out. So about 2 decades ago, I decided I had to improve. And through some chance meetings, I've been working with some other systems in the past, but then somebody said to me one day, you ever looked at reading faces? And I've always had the attitude to life, the most important thing you'll ever learn is the next thing you'll learn after you think you know everything. So I searched the world, found some really great people who were training and teaching in those areas, trained with them, and then looked at 4 different sciences and brought them together into one package, which is human pattern recognition, and referred to it as the science and art of reading people. So delivering it in an art form, you might say. And that's
Oh,
me pretty
very
much in a
interesting.
nutshell.
Yeah, very interesting. Tell us, please, more about this. What is the art to reading people that our audience can use? Maybe you can share some tips what people can use.
Well, I'd love to,
They
because
just
as you said, the title today was talking about how to get the best out of people. And the
Mm-hmm.
best to do that is to meet them at their level. Talk
Mm-hmm.
to them in the way that they need and want to be spoken to. See, we all are different. I'm analytical to a degree. I need a lot of information to be able to make a decision. Now, when I'm talking to somebody, I may talk to them in the same way because that's the way I like to be spoken to. So naturally, I think that they want to be spoken to that way. But then I find that somebody just wants the least amount of information. They just want the overview. Just give me the overall story. And if I'm interested, then tell me more. And if I talk the way I like to be spoken to, I've lost connection with them straight away. And so being able to look at someone's face and even from their photographs, your facial features will give away how you like to think and process, how you like to take information in, how you like to process it, and how you like to be treated as well. And from that, we can then change the way that we like to be spoken to and talk to that person in that same way that they want to be spoken to and make an immediate connection. And
Yeah,
so
interesting.
well, the face gives away everything. If you think about it, everything we feel inside, we express outwardly. Our brain controls our muscle movements. So if we think and concentrate in a certain way and we pull the same expression over and over, working the muscles in our face, we're going to create ridges and crevices that therefore gives away that our facial features are a roadmap to how we like to think and process. And so if I can see someone's photograph, I've got their personality straight away. And then I know, okay, I know how to change the way I to speak to them. Because if I may, I know that you put flair into the things that you do. There's a bit of what I call dramatic appreciation. And I know that when you're stressed, you like to voice that with people. You like to be able to talk to people about that. Someone like me has what I call aesthetic appreciation. That's too much energy for me, but I'll just withdraw. And if I'm working on something that I really have to get my head around, somebody asking me what's going on, why are you going quiet? That I can find quite frustrating. So if I know that you need to be able to voice what you're feeling, and I care, then I'm going to go, okay, has it got anything to do with me? If you say no, it hasn't. Is there anything I can help you with? And you say no. then it's a case of, well, okay, you just want me to listen. Is that right? So do you want me to fix this or do you want me to listen? And if you tell me that you just want me to listen, then I know it's got nothing to do with me. And if I'm a friend, I care for you, etc., I'm just going to stop and listen to you. And therefore, those misunderstandings that we have with other people start to disappear very quickly. Talk to the person in the way that they need and want to be spoken to. And the face will give you all that information every time.
Yeah, very interesting. I usually look at people and photo, and I think in I think about the energy. I
Mm,
ask my intuition to pick up energy, and I can feel that this is person who is calm, or person who is very kind, or
mm.
yeah. I just use this method, yes, to pick up energy and connect uh, with the person at that energy level.
That's it. See, everybody picks up energy. We all, if you think about a young child, young children have the skill when they're first born. They learn to recognize faces very quickly. Who's mum? Who's dad? Who are people I should be around and who shouldn't I be around? At the same time, they pick up the energies. They pick up whether you're happy, you're sad, or whatever, and they respond to that immediately. As we get older, though, we get caught up in sports and going to school and all the other activities in life, and the end result from that is we then stop practicing reading. We don't need to as much. We know who our family are. We know the people we shouldn't be around, or the ones that we should have around us, and so we don't need to practice that as much. And it's just like any muscle. If we don't work it, it atrophies. And
Mhm.
so, but as we get older, some people will really focus on the energy aspect and they'll pick that up in people. And other times, others won't pick it up at all. With what I do, I just teach people to get back what they had originally when they were young children. Because as I say to people, well, how often have you listened to somebody and everything they said sounded fine, but you had that feeling that something wasn't right? You picked up the non-verbals. Some people call it intuition. I call it the fact that people have actually picked it up. They've seen that what they're saying doesn't match what their body's giving away, their movements, their expressions, etc. If somebody's talking to you and you're supposed to be having a serious conversation, they're looking away all the time. You'll feel that you can't trust them because why aren't they looking at me, etc. At the same time, we need to understand what are cultural differences because some cultures won't look you in the eyes. So if we know that, but does that person, the rest of their body language and their movements and everything aligning with what we're looking at? If it is, then we can trust them. If it mismatch, then we know we can't trust them. And so this is where it all comes down. It's a combination of the facial features, the expressions. At the same time, we also have that, as you said, that innate intuition. And some people are stronger than others. You bring it all together and you find that you're able to read people far more effectively.
Mm. Yes, yes, I think that we all can communicate better when we show genuine interest to people.
That's it.
Yes, because if person has interest to somebody and want really to connect, he opens all his senses, yes, and like
Mm,
ability to see, hear what the person says, and as you said, some features also listen to energy, and it is happening when the person is fully present. Yes, that not
that's it.
that
Mm,
is speaking with somebody and thinking about something else and also having something in mind that he wants to say and don't
mm,
even listen to person. So I think that this interest to people and really ability to be
mm,
present and meet the person, and at that moment when you're communicating with person, give your all intention,
that's it.
give you all
Yeah,
presence, and this is how you will connect. Yes, this is
that's it.
how communication will be really effective.
Mm. See, everyone needs to realize that listening is an activity. It's an active activity. You've got to be active in the process. A lot of people, when somebody's speaking, they're not listening to the conversation. There's a conversation going on in their own head of what they're going to ask next. And so when they're talking, they're thinking about what they're talking about. So it's almost like everybody's schizophrenic. We've all got two people in our head at any given time. The whole thing is we need to listen to the other person, understand what they're saying, and respond to that. Not listen to just make a response, but listen to understand more than anything else. So the more I can understand the other person, where they're coming from, what they really mean, etc., what they really message they're trying to get across, then I can connect with them far more effectively. And people pick it up. They know if you're listening. They know if you're actually understanding them. And as I always say to people, we've got two eyes, two ears, and one mouth. A lot of people will say, oh, you've got two ears and one mouth, but you've also got two eyes. And you use all of those in that proportion. So you're using the eyes and your ears more than you're actually using your mouth. And when you're using your mouth, you should ask every possible question you can. And I always say to people, once you've asked every question you can think of, ask one more. And people will go, well, how can I ask one more question if they've asked every question I can think of? Well, the last one is, from what you've been telling me, this is what I understand. Have I got it right? And if the person says, yes, you have, they know that you've been listening. You've got that rapport, you've got a connection with them. Now, if they say no and they correct you on things, that's even better again, because now you're into a deeper conversation. And when it comes to selling, for instance, I know there's a big push it's always a push to get yeses from people, but a negotiation doesn't start until you get a no. So by asking that question, from what I understand, this is what, from what you've said and what I've taken in, this is how I've understood it. Is that right? And the person says no. You go, well, great. Well, tell me more about that. Now they really know you're listening. And because they're now talking, now you've got a conversation going. And that's when you can negotiate. If you're looking at trying to get a message across and getting them to do something that earlier on they didn't want to do.
Mm, yeah,
Like
so
getting your
true.
kids to eat their broccoli, for instance, there's a challenge. Getting finding the right partner and having that partner accept that you want to be with them for the rest of your life. All of those are sales. All of those are negotiations. The same as in business when we're selling products and services. They're all negotiations. And that always starts when you can get a real conversation going, not just presenting to the other person, but they're having communication backwards and forwards. And you're communicating and discussing things. And that's when you really get to a deeper understanding, you get to a deeper connection. And you don't have to try and mirror and match their movements or anything else. You'll find that when you've got that conversation going at that level, you're both doing it naturally. They're mirroring and matching you, and you're mirroring and matching them. And when you realize that's happening and you weren't even thinking about doing that, that's when you know you've really got that deep connection.
Yes, I like how you said that meet people at their level. And in
Mm,
order to understand their level, you have to know how they think, how they process information, and what they want from what they expect from this meeting.
that's it.
And only then you can present that the way that they can digest. Interesting thing that people process information and receive information so differently. The same
Mm,
information is received differently by other people. And when we say something, we mean something. But it doesn't
mm,
mean that the person who listens to us and hears us that exactly get the meaning which we want to say. This is
that's
how
it.
it is
Mm,
important to make sure that you really understood what the person wanted to say you, because everyone is so different and everyone uh, thinks in pictures, and all these pictures, how he thinks, it is related to his personality, to his background and everything else. So it is not exact match that we say something and that person exactly will hear what we say, because there are so many
mm,
different components involved. And I
that's
think
it.
by tuning into his energy, to his frequency, to his
Mm,
channel, by other words, will help us to get like that symphonic orchestra that we can start playing in unison, yeah, with this
mm,
person. And for this, we have
That's
to
it.
listen and ask questions to make sure that we really get who
Mm.
is this person, how he likes to speak. Is he speaking fast or he speaks slow, right? So we have to tune ourselves to his even tempo, yes, to conversation, so he feels that we matches his energy and he feels comfortable.
That's it. See, I talk fast when I'm talking to a lot of people. So I at times then remind myself to slow down. But, if I'm lecturing with a large class, I just tell everybody if I'm talking really fast, then listen faster. But when it comes to really connecting with somebody, you can't do that. You've got to understand them and talk to them at their level. It's the same as if you were talking to a young child. We don't use the language we would use with an adult. We'd change the word structure. We'd use more simple words that they would understand. Always meet the other person at their level where they are. But also then whatever they're saying, always confirm what they've said, because as you said, somebody may say something and we assume they've said meant something else and we get it totally wrong. Next thing you know, we're saying, well, that's what you told me. And the other person's saying, well, that's not what I said. And when we stopped momentarily and we went, hang on, okay, you said something, but what I took it was this. Where did I get it wrong? If the person then goes, well, this is what I really meant to try and get across, then you're in a conversation, you get to that better point. Never assume that you've heard the other person accurately without asking them or confirming from what you've been telling me, this is what I've understood. Is it right? And because if then that's a simple question. It's one that everybody can ask in every conversation with other people, and they'll always get a positive response back. They'll never get the other person saying, oh, aren't you listening? If they do, then it's a case of, well, I just wanted to make sure I got it right because it's important to me that I've listened to you right. I've got the information right. And that's got to be right, right with you or true with you as well. The person's got to say yes. And they go, okay, well, as I said, from what you told me, this is what I understood. As I said, have I got it right? And straight away, you're back into that conversation. So it's just because a lot of people, we're trying to get our message across and we get upset when people don't get it immediately. But quite often it's coming out the way we need to express it. It's not getting to them in the way that they need to hear it. And so, as you said, if I slow down, understand that other person's personality more effectively, talk to them in the way that they need to be spoken to from what their face is telling me, then the facial features will give me that information. And then, as I said, while I'm talking, I've got that body language, the expressions on their face, all those things giving me feedback if I'm on track. And the moment I see something there that's not congruent, the things have slightly gone off, where I might be talking about something happy and there's a lack of a smile there, then I know that they're not taking it the way I'm trying to relay it to them, how I'm trying to speak it. So then I can actually change the way I'm talking or confirm and just ask them, well, this is what I was trying to get across. Is that the way you've understood it? I can actually ask them if they've understood it. And so being active in the communication. So when I'm talking, I'm always looking at the other person. I'm looking for the feedback. Have I connected with them? Do they understand what I'm talking about? Is there a better way that I could be explaining this? Because the focus then is off me, it's on them. Whereas everybody else is in that role where they want to get a message across. So they're only listening to respond to that person. They're not actually listening to understand what the person's saying. And so they've got the conversation going on in their own head when they're listening, and then the conversation coming out of their mouth when they finally get the opportunity to speak. And you get two people doing that, talking to each other. Both of them walk away with no idea what the other one was talking about, and quite often walk away with a misconception or believing the other person said something that they didn't even say at all. So
Yeah.
always meet the other person at their level.
Yes, and this is what came to my mind when you were telling this. What I learned from Bob Proctor. He also learned it from his mentor. And
Hmm.
he said that there is the golden rule. Always meet the person and speak to him as he is the most important person in the world.
That's it. So there's the golden rule, as we call it, which is treat others as we would have them treat us.
Mm-hmm.
That's right when it comes to respect. But the platinum rule is when it comes to communication, speak to the other person in the way that they would have us speak to them, which is what you virtually just said then, because that makes the other person then feel that they're the most important person in the room. That
Mm-hmm.
you're really interested in what they're saying. And at that point, you'll get to a faster connection. You'll get that rapport much faster. If they're work colleagues or anything like that, you'll have loyalty from them as well. And this is
Yes. Mhm.
extremely important for business owners and executives to be able to talk to all their frontline people, their customers, their suppliers in that particular way. Because if they do, they'll have loyal customers. They'll keep coming back. They'll have suppliers who will always put them first over their competitors. And they'll have their work people working in the business diligently so they can go and work on their business. Because a big cry we have with all businesses is, I need to work on my business to grow it. Well, you can't do that if you've got nobody in the business working in it. And a lot of managers get it wrong because they're micromanaging their people. And so nobody's doing what they could doing what they could possibly do at the highest level, because they're only doing what they have to do to get by without getting into trouble. But if you meet your staff and talk to them in the right way, they'll become more productive. They become more loyal. They feel that they belong, they contribute, they're valued, that they have a place, and they'll be far more effective. And if you're doing that, you can go on holidays and the company will not only survive, it will grow in your absence. That's when you know you can definitely work on your business. And these are the important things to be able to connect with people, to be able to do that.
Yes, and another one rule which I like so much, leave people with impression of increase. Leave them in the place that they feel better than they did before they met you.
That's it. It's the old golden rule of always leave the planet in a better place than you found it. You know? The environment, people around you, everybody, make everybody feel that they were special, that they belong, they contribute, they valued, etc. And you'll always have that loyalty. You'll always find that every conversation you have is a pleasant one. I've
Yes,
had conversations with people when I first met them who have been really angry at the organization or the other people who have what other people have done. And in no time at all, I've got a strong ally in that person. So because I meet them at their level, I understand, I connect with them. They feel that they've got somebody who's actually listening to them, who's really concerned and interested in helping them through their problem. So when it comes to, people ask me, am I a salesman? A lot of people buy from me, but I don't sell anything other than sell myself. In that, I build a connection with them. And with that, the end result is that you'll always have people coming back to you. This is how you have loyal clients. This is how you have staff who really want to be there on Monday. And sometimes they're looking at it on a Friday going, oh, I got 2 days off, but I'll be back at work on Monday with a smile on their face. And you've got that sort of situation. You've got a business that's going to flourish. And if you're the business owner, you're going to make a lot of money.
yeah, attitude is very important. Attitude for ourselves, to people, to life, to business. Attitude is the key word, as old Nightingale said, that it is
Mm,
the secret, the main word, which is like foundation for success. Attitude,
mm,
right? And the way how we communicate also comes from attitude, from respect, from love, from
mm,
passion. So we are not only hearing ourselves, but we are able to listen, and we are able to hear people seeing the situation from their perspective. And then we
mm,
can make the whole picture of situation when we're not only looking from our like piece
mm,
of pie, yes, which we got, but when we collect opinion of people, their views, and then when we can lead by example and lead by getting all the picture and putting all people into consideration, that everybody
mm.
he-
That's it.
feel heard, appreciated,
Mm,
supported, feel free to share their opinion. Yes, this is environment which will make people like to be in and grow
mm.
together, develop together, have common goal.
That's it. So when many years ago, several decades ago now, I used to work with our national telephone carrier. And when I took redundancy and left the organisation, half my staff wanted to resign and come with me because they knew I was starting a business outside of starting my first business. And we had the highest performance in Australia in the area in which we worked. We had clients who loved us, and we're always under budget, and all our faults. We installed all the computer links out of Newcastle across the country. We installed them and we maintained them. So if there's a fault, we always got that well underneath there was an allocated time to get faults fixed. We always fixed them faster. We always had clients that loved us. My staff worked their tails off. They worked really hard, but yet half of them wanted to resign and come with me when I left. Because I realized the connection I had with people, if I respected them and showed them how I valued them and gave them their time, that connection, it worked really well. I did the same in the surf club as a surf lifesaver when I left the club there. It's always been that case. Then what was about almost 7 years ago now, I created the Campfire Project, which is a safe place for men and women from around the world, adults and that from all over the world, to be able to come together and share the stories they've never been able to share with anybody before. And for them to feel comfortable and talk about, well, they haven't told their partners, they haven't told their families, they haven't told their counselors, even psychologists or psychiatrists. And within 5 minutes, they're opening up and telling me their life stories. And the only reason that can happen is that I'm focused on them. They pick that up. So that instant connection. This is why the profiling side of things made life for me so much easier. Because as I said before all of that, 2 divorces, a lot of broken relationships, because I didn't have these skills. I had a desire to build relationships, but didn't know how to do it. As I said, over 2 decades ago now, I took on the face profiling side of things. I'd had body language and my NLP masters and a whole bunch of other what do you call it, qualifications before that. But it was the face profiling that brought it all together for me. And so, to have somebody open up and tell you their life story and feel comfortable doing it when they've never been able to share it with somebody before, I'm definitely a product of what I teach.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, amazing. And I'm sure that people who listening to us, they would like to know more about learning from faces, yes, learning and connecting with people. And we will put these links for your programs in the description so people can
That would
connect.
be good. Yeah. There is a link there to a free course if they want to get a bit, because the old saying is that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's like, I can tell you all the things that I've done, how good this stuff is, but until you try it yourself, it's like a chef said, you can be there and saying, I'm a great chef and everything, but it's not until you taste his or her food that you know whether they're any good. That's why I always say to people, there's a free course on my website. You can go and click on that. That'll give you some traits you can play around with. You can go and test them for yourself and see how well and how quickly you can start to build relationships with people. And then from there, they want to talk further. I'm always happy to have another chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alan. It was so important what we just discussed and what you shared. I appreciate, and I'm sure that our audience, everyone who listen, will like to learn from you, studying from that course, and then, of course, connect with you to know more how to work with you. What is
Thank
the
you.
one advice, if it would be one, what you would like to share before we wrap up this episode?
Well, one of the things is that, we sometimes just take everything on board and accept it, or we just reject everything because it doesn't sound right. As I said, the most important thing I'll ever learn is the next thing I learn after I think I know everything. So I always say to people, have an open mind, listen to everybody, take it all in, but then work out what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and add your own flavor to it as well. And I think that was what Bruce Lee had said in his martial arts. At the same time, there's an Arabic saying that says, trust everybody, but lock up your camels at night. So as I say, listen to everybody, take all the information in, and then assess it for yourself and go, okay, does this work for me? How can it work for me? Trial it out and everything else, and then discount what doesn't and maintain and keep what does. But if you don't have an open mind, you'll never get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, such amazing advice. Thank you so much, Alan. And
My
I'm
pleasure.
looking forward to see you again in our further episodes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.